Good morning, everyone. Like you said, my name is Maggie McNeely. I graduated from CNU in 2013, and this is the beginning of my 6th year on staff with CRU. I also work at the campus of William and Mary over the past couple years, and we've seen a lot of growth in that movement as well. Over the summer, I spent 6 weeks in Ocean City, Maryland on summer mission. That was my assignment as staff. I was with a team of 14 other staff people from all over the East Coast. We had 34 students, college students, that gave up their summer to live in Ocean City for 10 weeks, and they worked a normal job, as well as all living in a house together. They had different apartments for the men and women, and they all got to be discipled by a staff and involved in this summer mission, as well as learning how to reach out to their coworkers. A lot of the people that we talked to while doing outreach or just meeting people were international students who came just for the summer to work on the beach because it's a nice place to be if you're a student. And then we also had a lot of high school students in the beginning during my time there. We called them the June bugs. They came for their senior beach week after they graduated high school to party, and so we got to minister to them as well. Our college students learned how to share their testimony, and so how God had affected them, how God had changed their life, and incorporating the gospel into that so as to start a normal conversation with their coworkers saying, hey, can I share my story with you? Hey, can I share how God has changed my life while developing relationships with them? As staff, it looked pretty similar to what I do here at CNU and William and Mary. I had 4 women that were from Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and they were in my Bible study, and so I discipled them on a one-on-one mentorship, as well as meeting with them weekly for our Bible study with all the girls together. It was amazing to see how God used all of our stories and struggles and just where God had brought us and put us in this specific Bible study. I didn't pick the girls I met with. They were assigned to me by our team leaders, and it was just amazing to see God work through that summer. The pastor talked a lot about growth, and that was something that we saw so much of in that short amount of time because of the environment they're in. They're surrounded by Christian community in this place that they're not comfortable with, interacting with people from all over the world. We had conversations with people from about 30 different countries just in Ocean City. This place, I think it was about 6 million people come to Ocean City just during the summer. And normally there's not many people who live there year-round. And so it's just such a strategic location for us to have a summer mission because of all the people we get to cross paths with. It was really nice to be there as staff. This was my 2nd year. I went 2 years ago, and then last summer I was in North Africa, so it was a little bit different of an environment. And as staff, we were also poured into, because it can be really easy just to rely on my own strength and try and pour out and meet all these girls and people who are going through really hard things, but then feel drained. And so we had senior staff meeting with myself, so I was also discipled while I was there for 6 weeks. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, we handed the mission over to the students. We said, we recognize your leadership. I'd like you to lead the prayer team or the outreach team. We had people in our Bible studies that we asked to lead our Bible study and take over. And so it was just amazing to see their leadership, their step up into this role that they might not have ever been a part of if they hadn't been challenged, and to see them grow in their faith and see how God had met them in those places where they didn't feel equipped, but they got to rely on Jesus for. I am now back on campus. We are beginning our 3rd week of school, and we started meeting as a staff team the week before just to plan, so it's been about a month, and we have seen hundreds of students come through. I have a dog, which is a really good ministry tool because college students love dogs. And so I bring her to campus all the time. And we had a freshman event where they had different church partnerships come. And my church and many of the other just organizations on campus had tables. And I just showed up with my dog and some CRU flyers, and people swarmed her. And we're like, can I pet your dog? And I'm like, sure, here's a flyer. So it was, a great tool to use. I love her also. And sometimes I wish I could reimburse it as a ministry expense because having a dog is also expensive, so be careful. So it's great to be able to be back on campus. I meet with 5 women from CNU and 3 from William and Mary, and I disciple them, and we have 30 student leaders at CNU this year, as well as 6 student leaders at William and Mary. So our movements look a lot different. It's about 150 students coming through our weekly meeting at CNU and maybe 25 to 30 at William & Mary. It's amazing just to see how God works through those individuals on both campuses and how it's so clear that he's still moving even in the small movements. It's not about the numbers, it's about the individuals and their walks with the Lord. And we had a freshman girl at William & Mary come up at one of our events, and she said, "Hi, I'm a new Christian and I want to get involved, and I heard about CRU. Can I come to anything you have going on?" And I was like, yes, you're exactly who we're looking for. And so I'm getting dinner with her tomorrow to hear her story and hear how she met the Lord and how he changed her life. It's really amazing to have this opportunity to be on these campuses, to be able to share the love of Christ. I was involved as a student, and then just through that growth, God called me to ministry. So I thank you so much for just your partnership as a church as a whole. There are things you can pray for. You can pray for our student leaders, that they would be walking with the Lord. College is such a difficult time in life where you're making a lot of decisions. You have a lot of influences coming from your professors, your hallmates, your classmates, people telling you what to think. And so there's a lot of struggle and challenges there in their faith. And so just pray that they would cling to God's truth and pursue holiness and pursue him. You can pray for our staff team. I am the only woman on campus right now as staff. Just the way the team dynamics worked out. I have 2 guys who I work with who I'm very thankful for. And then at William & Mary, I have a woman volunteer who is a godsend, and she's new this year. And so we have 21 women who are student leaders at CNU, and I looked at that and I was like, God, how are we going to have all these women discipled? I am one person and I cannot do that. And by the end of the week for our staff meetings, we had people coming out of the woodwork who were like, oh yeah, I was involved in CRU in Nebraska and my husband's in the Air Force here now, so I'd love to volunteer with you and disciple 3 women. And I'm like, thank you, God, that's amazing. And so it's just, God, it's just a reminder that God provides all our needs. And then a second way you can pray is, for me personally, I am in a season of support raising too. And so I'm working on that as well as being on campus. So while I'm thankful for church partnerships and groups of people, I'm also looking for individuals to partner with me. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. I also brought some of the tools we use for evangelism and starting spiritual conversations with me as well for you to look through. They're great tools for anyone to have. But yeah, I thank you so much for letting me come share. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.